Hey, good morning, everybody. Good Friday morning to everybody in Facebook land. Welcome to Coffee Talk. Sonona Speaks Seminars presents Coffee Talk with the Listings Pro. And this week's guest we have with us is John Baron McSherry. And he's going to come in live any minute to discuss how he goes about getting listings and goes about selling himself to his clientele. And this program is all about Listings Pro and how we can help each other in the listings world. This program is dedicated to realtors who want to be better at their craft and basically learn a little bit about becoming listings pros, like the people that I have featured here. I hope everybody had a very, very happy new year. I hope everybody is going to have a great new year in real estate. And I guess everybody is focusing on productivity and getting out there and servicing people. And that's great. That's a great philosophy. As you know, the law of agency in real estate is a fiduciary duty that we all have as realtors. And for those of you who are tuning in who are not realtors, it's best to understand the position that all real estate people have, which is a fiduciary duty to their consumer. Under the laws of agency, we have obedience and loyalty, disclosure, and confidentiality, accountability, and reasonable care. This is something that we as realtors take very serious. We operate with the highest standards as anybody in real estate can operate. We operate with the code of ethics in mind, and law of agency is the foundation for which we use those principles to talk to our clientele, whether it be a seller, whether it would be a buyer. So this program today is all about listings, and there's my friend and my truest lister right here today, and that's John Baron McSherry. Welcome to the program, John.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, wait a minute. Before you start, I have something in your honor. It's a surprise. Nobody knows, not even John, but I thought to bring my hat today.
I love it. We got a match. It's perfect.
There you go.
You know what? Next time you should grow the beard too.
Yeah, I'm going to grow a beard. Or should I put it this way?
Yeah. No, forward.
No, I'll do it this way.
Yeah.
I saw this in my closet today, and I said, "This is the John Baron McSherry hat that I'm going to wear."
Love it, man. I love it. Looks good.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go right into the listings that you get and what you do, which is fascinating.
Sure. Yeah. So, I came to this. We really didn't even have a conversation prior, so I'm just going to kind of shoot from the hip and tell you a little bit about myself. As you know, I'm a real estate investor. I'm also a real estate broker. I work for Douglas Elliman Real Estate. I buy a few properties a month. I wholesale, flip, and then I list a couple properties a month as well. And my focus is mostly Nassau County, Queens, and Manhattan. So I have, I'm duly licensed. I have a membership with LIBOR and a membership with REBNY in Manhattan. So I kind of bounce around. I'm everywhere. I'm in the process of building a team. And day to day, I'm just always hustling. I'm always, cold calling, always networking and looking to build partnerships. And that's really it. I'd say the majority of my businesses comes from social media and just referrals from other agents, family members, past clients. And that's pretty much
great. That's great. And you're all over the Instagram, and I follow your story from, I think, as early as 5:30 you wake up, and you're already on the road by 5:30, so you must wake up about 4:30, correct?
5:10. I get up quick. I have a protein shake, a cup of tea, and just jump right on the road and head to the gym.
Yeah, and then I see you going to many different places. As you go from Brooklyn to Manhattan, and then you end your day somewhere in Long Island. Then you come back to your. I mean, I can't follow you. I mean, it's amazing what you do on a day-to-day basis. So tell me something. What's your secret sauce, if you or a little bit of your secret sauce on What do you tell the consumer? What do you ask the consumer or show the
Mhm.
consumer? What's your strategy?
Well, my thing, I would say my secret sauce is that I'm in their shoes daily, and that's what I let them know. Since I'm always buying and selling properties myself, for myself, with partners, for other investors, I'm always in their shoes, so I know what it feels like. I know how to find a great deal. I know how to help them make a lot of money. So I think it's from having that commonality, and I think that really helps. And really, also a big part of success, I feel like, is just having drive and almost like an obsession about what you do. You need to be extremely passionate, which I am, about everything I do. And you just, you need to be relentless. You need to do whatever it takes to get a deal done. And you really have to love it, because this business is tough, And I tell people, I tell new agents, it's like you get punched in the face every day. It's like, you jump on a call, and, you know, you're trying to help people, but, you're trying to help people navigate through very stressful situations, sometimes the most stressful situation of their life. Buying a home, getting married, having a baby, these are all very, stressful things. So I think it's the ability of getting punched in the face and getting back up and being
True.
enthusiastic about it. I think that that's really the other secret, and just really having just like a super passion about it, you know? Yeah.
What kind of technology do you use that impresses the homeowners?
Mm-hmm. It's really just this phone. I do everything on my cell phone. Everything from making videos to recording, taking pictures to searching for properties, keeping in touch, all the different apps that I use. And well, social media is, a big part of what I do, whether it's posting or engaging, commenting. Um, but yeah, I think it's not just the technology; it's what you do with it. You know, I think I think that's really important, and being consistent with it.
One of the laws of agency is reasonable care
Mm-hmm.
and confidentiality. So when you're faced with that sort of situation, how do you handle confidentiality with a client? I mean, other than keeping secret the things that they ask you to.
Mm. Well, I mean, we have a fiduciary duty to the buyer and seller, or whoever we're working for. So when it comes down to that, everything is private. But I just document the day to day and what I'm doing, and I would never share anything that I have a fiduciary duty to a buyer or seller, because that's the law. So.
I see. And when you're the flipper or you're the one that's handling the flip,
Right.
do you usually deal with the seller directly or do you deal with an intermediary like another agent?
It depends. Like if an agent brings me a deal, I deal with the agent. Sometimes the seller comes directly to me. So it really depends on the situation.
I see.
Yeah.
Um, so how long have you been doing this real estate business?
So I've been flipping for a little over 10 years, and I've been a broker now, agent, now broker, associate broker for a little over 6 years.
6. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Really. So do you feel that your background gave you the background in flipping, background in buying and selling, gave you the background so that you can help others in your real estate business?
100%. And really, I only got my license just to have access to more deals. I didn't realize that it would be a whole nother job. And I was also working another job at that time. I used to do design work. I designed products. I did packaging design, a little bit of engineering. And, I was sitting at a desk all day, every day. And I just grew a passion for real estate over time. And I started doing, I was an investor part time. I was also investing in restaurants, which was very difficult. Real estate's a lot easier. And so I was flipping properties for years. And then eventually I was like, well, I should just get my license to have access to the MLS. And people were asking me for help. So I'm like, well, I have my license now. I could help them out. And then it just kind of grew into its own thing. And then at the end of 2017, I left that job to go into real estate full time. So right now it's like 50-50, where 50% investing and 50% on the agency sales side.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I happen to love your pictures. Your pictures are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
It's like it's art. It's not just a picture. It's art. The way you have that eye. Is there anything you can tell or you can show an agent who is
Mhm.
maybe listening to us right now, or perhaps someone who will look at this broadcast in the future that you can lend advice to on how to take really good pictures?
Well, for one, you should have a good camera, and that's important. My camera is my phone. I also have this camera too, which, by the way, I'm starting to vlog again. This
Oh,
is a
nice.
mirrorless camera. It's the Canon M6, and it also has like a selfie screen on it, so that you could shoot yourself. So it's good to have a good camera, but really I like the functionality and accessibility of using your cell phone, and the iPhone and other phones out there, Samsung and so forth, are really good these days, that you don't really need to carry around something like that unless you are vlogging, unless you want better picture and better sound. So really it's having a good cell phone, I believe, and just, you know, for me, like, I come from a creative background. I never studied photography, but I did photography for clients in the past. But I just really have a passion for it. I think that's why I take it to the next level. Um, and that's really just for the documentation of my day-to-day on Instagram and Facebook. But I also think it's really important to hire a professional when you're photographing, or like a property per se, or if you want to do like a walkthrough. It's good to also mix in some professional photography. So I do hire professionals when I'm photographing my listings through Douglas Elliman, and when I'm doing like a walkthrough video or a bio video, I always hire someone else because it's good to have that other perspective as well.
And for a new agent who basically cannot afford such technology, what do you recommend?
I would just get an older version of the iPhone or whatever. Just get something. I mean, the cameras are pretty good on most of the iPhones, so I would say just start there. You could probably get one for free these days as long as you have a phone plan. So
Yeah.
it's really, for me, it's not really about the best quality. It's about quantity and about being consistent and just getting it out. Because a lot of people get so caught up in making the perfect picture or giving the perfect pitch or waiting until things are perfect. But the reality is nothing is ever going to be perfect, and you just have to start right now. I believe taking action is much more important than perfection.
So let's go back to listing. How do you prospect?
A lot of cold calling, and I also talk to everybody. And something that I feel like was ingrained into me by my aunt is, when I first moved back to New York in 2006, I was jobless. I just finished college. I was living in a garage basically for 5 years, saving for my first investment property. And she kind of like mentored me and coached me. And something I picked up that she did was no matter where she went, she would talk to everybody. She would go to the grocery store. She would give people a ride home. She would talk to somebody at the coffee shop. And that kind of like rubbed off on me and became a part of my DNA. So no matter where I am, I'm talking to people and, just trying to find ways to help people. And so really it's for me, it's my sphere of influence, the people around me. It's the day to day. I'm networking, talking to new people every day. I also cold call and do mailers. So um, I, I do lots of things. There's no set one thing. It's just always trying,
One of one of the 2019 mentors that I met in real estate who showed me more about building relationships over transactions is Ricky Caruth. And I've actually gone back to that style of just networking and talking and socializing. And I found that in my business, it's working a little bit better than your typical sales approach. Hey, are you thinking about renting, selling, or buying, or something like that? And a lot of our colleagues in the business use that approach versus the relationship. What's your thoughts on that?
Say it again. Sorry, I just got a call. I'm actually making an offer on a property right now. I'm so sorry.
Oh, there you go, live.
Yeah. So actually, an agent that I'm working with right now is a good friend of mine. Do you know David Barriga? So we're actually offering on a property in Bayside right now, and we're sending, luckily, $1,000 for like a just some money to hold the contract. It's an investment property. It's a great deal. And he's like, I'm at the bank right now. I need you to send this money. So I'm like, I'll be off the call in 15 minutes. So
now you see, that's a good that we're doing this live, because that used to be the way we bought money with bought properties with earnest money deposits.
Yeah.
And you don't see that in our business culture downstate New York. So I'm glad that somebody is doing that again, and that we should return to that kind of culture in our business, because I think the sellers would feel a lot better knowing that they have more of a secure buyer rather
Right.
than just showing them a pre-approval and then having no contract in hand.
Right. True.
Yeah.
That is true.
So my question was for the agents that are out there, you're using the relationship approach, which is the best approach to real
It is.
estate, rather than asking a typical for sale by owner or even an expired listing, hey, are you interested in buying, renting, or selling? And that
Hmm.
seems to be the script, if you will, that most agents use.
Right. Yeah, and I do also call expireds and fizzles, but it's really about building the relationship, like you said. Uh, there's so many people calling these people all day, and they're getting inundated with calls for people that just want their business. But if you call and just build a relationship, they may not be ready today. They may have had a bad experience. So focus on the relationship and follow up. It's all about follow up. There's some sellers I followed up with 8, 9 times before I got the listing. So you really need to just continuously follow up with that person, build the relationship, check in with them. And a quick funny story: there was this guy in Manhattan who was a FISBO, and he was actually a broker that lived in Wantaw, but he had trouble getting out to Manhattan. And I went to go visit his property in Turtle Bay in Midtown East, and we kept in touch for a while. And I kept following up. And about a month later, I text him, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on with the property? How you been? Blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, I'm waiting for this guy John to get back to me from Douglas Elliman. I can't seem to find his number." I'm like, "Well, I'm John. I'm like, I'm trying to get a hold of you, and I want to help you." He's like, "Oh my God, sorry about that. I lost your number." So sometimes
Hmm.
people lose your information or they forget. That's why it's so important to follow up. And I feel like a lot of agents are afraid to kind of like be too pushy. You don't have to be pushy, but just check in and keep in touch with that person.
Yeah, a lot of people just think that the one call is going to build a relationship rather than sitting there going,
Hmm.
okay, wait for the phone to ring, or instead of taking another approach, just saying,
Right.
listen, I'm doing a follow up just to show you that I have a pulse and I'm alive and I'm
Hmm.
and I'm following through. Whereas a lot of agents don't follow up at all
Right.
in their approach to listings. Is
Right.
there anything else that you want to add that could maybe lend a little bit more of advice to a new agent getting into the business? Because as you
Sure.
know, 87% of all new
Hmm.
agents fail to
Sure.
succeed in the first year.
Sure.
That's a staggering statistic, right?
Hmm. It is. I would say just, like I mentioned before about, the ones that really succeed are the ones that are able to take a punch in the face and get back up. And the funny thing is, it's worth it. It's worth it to take those hits because most people are not willing to take those hits and people give up too quickly. I would say stick it out, but also only do it if you like it. I feel like a lot of people are jumping into the business just because they think it's cool or they see the TV shows, which is great. But if you don't love it, it's going to be very hard to stick with it. And I think it was something Steve Jobs said where he's like, being an entrepreneur is very, very, very difficult. And unless you really love it, you're going to quit when it gets tough. And it's going to get tough. And it still gets tough for me every day. I'm sure it gets tough for you sometimes too. Like deals die every day, deals come back to life, things happen, life happens. And it's really
Yeah.
about just staying motivated, staying focused, staying passionate. And, the miracle starts to happen after a while. Like it took me years because I did this part time. But after doing it part time for a couple of years, and then when I went full time, my business just took off. So for those new agents starting in full time, the sky's the limit if you link up with the right brokers and our partners and teams. I would say just surround yourself with the right people. Get with a good company. Get with other good agents, whether it's a senior member or a team member, um, and give it your all. Be passionate about it, and stick it out.
There's some personalities in the real estate world that just don't mesh with one another. Some homeowners that want to
Right.
deal with an aggressive agent, and some homeowners that want to deal with a very maybe a little bit more passive agent that
Right.
has a soft seller approach. Yeah, I've gone through my share as well, and you don't get every one of those listings. Not
Right.
everybody
Sure.
can be that type of lister.
Exactly.
However, you do very well in your business model, and I just want to make also a plug for you that you're
Well, thanks.
also the president elect
Yes, for this year.
of
Yeah.
IPN.
Mm-hmm.
Young Professionals Network for the Long Island Board of Realtors. Tell me, is there any big plans that you might have this year that you want to promote?
Always. So, I mean, I'm under my president, Christopher Bacchus, who's a great friend of mine, a great broker, great guy. And we, I want to start implementing a lot more social media training and strategies. So that's really my goal to start this year and then to continue next year when I become the president. Just a lot more training and maybe hands-on stuff that new agents could get involved in. I feel like that's a big part of not only the future but the present that a lot of agents are not utilizing. And I feel like that's the world we live in now, and so many agents need to have a better presence online. And I feel like that's really, where this business is going, and I'd love to help with that.
Well, I'd love to help you accomplish that
Thank you.
if you're open to that. And I
100%.
just want to thank you again for being on this show. And
Thank you.
I'm going to post over here. We have an event coming up with called List to Last with Ricky Caruth and myself, bringing the laws of agency, continuing education to Long Islanders, Long Island real estate agents and Queens and Brooklyn, anyone else in the Long Island Board of Realtors, and the Brooklyn Board and the Rebney Board are welcome to attend. It's 3 hours of CE credit. John, I hope you can make it that day, and some of your colleagues I know have registered already.
Yeah.
And we will also feature about 10 top listing agents that will speak at the roundtable discussions and interact with the audience. I think today we have about almost 120 registered already.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
so,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. And I remember you asked me about it, and I was going to do the round table, but I'm actually at a Tony Robbins Business Mastery event in
Which
Florida.
is something that I admire you also, because you also put
you.
a lot of professional development into your work as well.
Always.
So you're always learning, and that's also a key recipe for success.
100%. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you again, John, for not just being a good listing agent, but also being a good friend to us all, and for always lending your knowledge, your expertise to our profession. And it is our profession that we hold very dear and near. So I look forward to collaborating with you in 2020, and I'll wear more of my hat.
Yeah, I want to see it. And thank you for being a friend. Thank you for asking me to come on. It was a pleasure. We need to do more of this. I think all agents should be doing this. So thank you again for the opportunity. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week with Sonona Speaks Seminars as we present Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros. Stay tuned for our next guest speaker. Thanks again, John. I appreciate it. And have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.
You too.
Thank you.